to the Show. I'm Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by the man who still has a Team Edward poster hidden in his closet, my cousin and co-host,
Oh,
Landon.
what is this? What how why would you say something like
I'm
that?
sorry, I sold you out. My bad.
Why
It,
would you say something like that?
it was Team Jacob. It was Team Jacob. I take it back.
Oh man, what? No, I mean if it had to be two, it would have been the team ever, but it wouldn't be either. Oh man. Hey, something weird happened to me this week. I think because I've grown the facial hair and I changed my hats up, my phone would stop recognizing me. So I had to redo my facial. My it was like, nope, you're not him. And I'm like, it's me. It's it's me. We've been close. And it's like, nope, I don't know who you are.
I don't
You know
believe
what
you.
I mean? I believe you. So I had to redo the whole thing. And so, this is the another facade, goatee and brim hat.
It's the gray.
It's the gray. It is. It is the gray.
It's looking distinguished.
Yeah, yes, it is. I'm very distinguished. Now that I'm more academic and I'm back in school, I'm like going back to my goatee look from back in those days.
You get a tweed jacket with the leather patches on the
Yes.
elbows.
And then get around my pipe, you know?
Nice. Before we dive in, quick reminder to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know exactly when we drop our latest content. And trust me, you don't want to miss any of our hot takes. Today, we are bringing back our character couch segment, which is where we put on our completely unqualified amateur psychology hats. We analyze characters from pop culture. And boy, do we have the doozy today. We are diving deep into the mind, which is scary, of Twilight's very own Bella Swan, the character that launched 1,000 ugh sounds from readers worldwide. Landon, are you ready to analyze the girl whose personality traits include falling down, biting her lip, and making questionable life choices?
I mean, I've emotionally prepared myself for this moment, but can anyone really ever be fully prepared to talk about Bella Swan, let alone watch her in action?
You really be prepared for this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I
In
think it's good to
preparing,
talk about something like this. To not talk about it would be, it would be a travesty upon literature and just the minds of those onlookers.
yeah, for some reason, it's still a very popular thing. And there's certain people who, if you dare speak ill of Twilight, the saga, the series, whether it be the books, the movies, or the stars thereof. There's no room for the fury that they have. It's just
I guess we're to be canceled because I
it's
don't think
crazy.
we're going to be able to get away with not saying a few things on the
I
matter.
don't care. I won't. I'm not going to hold back. I've made it
Don't
clear.
hold
I've
back.
I've thought for years that Bella Swan is quite possibly the worst character in literary history. So
Yes, and I don't mean worse like the bad guy you love to hate or something like that.
no,
Joffrey in Game of Thrones is truly one of the worst characters ever, but not worse in the sense that bad writing, worse in the sense of you can't believe someone like this exists. You
no,
know,
she's the
Well, that's the
worst.
case here too, but different. Like it's okay that he exists. No, anyway. The point is here, like for Bella Swan, let's dive into this a little bit and talk about some of the things. Because all right, let's do the benefit of the doubt approach here. All right, let's start off being reasonable, balanced.
Well, let's go with the basics first. So we have Bella Swan. She moves to Forks, Washington, immediately falls for the palest guy in school who literally tells her he's dangerous, and then proceeds to make every decision based on. I mean, I'm not sure what she bases her decisions on, but it's definitely not self-preservation.
Well, all right, so let's consider a few things. She moves to a new school. Is she immediately ostracized and treated horribly by the students at the school? No.
She's welcomed with open arms by the popular kids.
By the popular kids. All right. Dad is the constable,
Yeah, he's sheriff in town. And
mom's,
this is, and you know what, Dad, I might argue that Dad best character in the entire series,
yes,
and
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 best
he gets and he gets
and
crapped
best
on all the
acting.
time.
Hold on, and best acting. I mean, in the series, but yeah. So okay, so new girl goes to school, not really bullied, um, accepted by the popular kids, standoffish, and acts as though she is ostracized. Her character has the demeanor of one who is not accepted, and she's kind of loner, and she sees this guy, and let's just be fair. That happens, right? You see somebody, you just jaw drop on the floor. You had an Ashley Judd moment in Star Trek in the last episode. But that happens. All right. So this guy, he's not like a biker dude or something like that. He's not like somebody who's, off from everyone else because he's done something. He's just the pariah. He's like the Cullens.
he,
Mm,
he just hangs out with his adopted brothers and sisters who are all hooking up. Which
yes.
I'm sorry, that's weird.
Yes. All right. So they're seen as elitist, standoffish, and snobby. So although there are the popular kids in the school, these people would be considered like the elitists or anything like that. And she's drawn to him. He's obviously drawn to her. He's got a couple hundo years on her as far as age goes, but he still seems to be hanging out and finding love in teenagers, which I gotta
And
say bothers me a little bit because I mean he's a couple hundred years old, right?
like, where did this come from? Like, and it's constant in vampire lore. It's always is it a girl thing that they think it's sexy for 100 and some 200-year-old vampire to fall for a teenage girl? Because it happens in Buffy. And I'll tell you, I was all about it. Buffy and Angel, they're star-crossed lovers. But he is
Right.
242 years old when she's 17. It's
Something's
just it's
wrong.
just what is happening here? Why
First
are
of
you going
all,
after little girls?
yeah, that's so aside from him, since we're not analyzing him really, just understanding context here, you know, she is all into Mr. Shimmer, and so, you know, um, her liking him isn't really the problem, as much as her demeanor throughout the entire story, her reactions, her lack of reactions. And I've got to say, people give Kristen Stewart a really hard time at her lack of reactions and her demeanor. I really want it to be clearly said that she was made for the role, if that's the
So it
case.
was.
Because the book, she really did. If anything, Kristen Stewart learned how to be a human being, an actress, from this book, and she never stopped that. That's probably more what happened than it was Kristen Stewart's fault that we get that display.
Uh, so something I find fascinating is everyone's always asking Team Edward or Team Jacob, but nobody ever says Team Bella. Like these two supernatural beings are fighting over this girl, and I'm sitting here wondering why. What exactly is the appeal here? Now, I get it. I almost get it with Edward, right? She's attracted to him, he's attracted to her. That's there. But then there's this other kid, Jacob, coming out of the woodwork, and he is obsessed with Bella, like she is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm sorry, I don't see it. What
Well,
I
it's
mean,
like you have two friends, like, and he's got his own little world that he's trying to live his own little life apart from, and she's new, and so they get along good, like little buddy friends. I get it. But then he gets to be super and ultra protective, right? He kind of goes the extra step, with it. And there's a point at which you have to go like, you haven't known each other for very long, right? I mean, but okay, maybe you just got a thing. Maybe the Cullens smell funny, and
well, they
all
do.
that.
They
Yeah,
they
they
smell
do.
like vampires.
And he knows that. He's trying to protect her and all that stuff. So I get that, but still, I actually never saw the appeal in the Jacob. and now not because of Shark Boy, but largely just because of like I don't know. I just didn't find it to be him to be that appealing, for as a
Really?
character. No,
Uh,
not really.
when it comes down to just straight up attractiveness, I'm gonna go there. I think Taylor Lautner's got it over Robert Pattinson any day of the week.
Well, I really
Dude,
wasn't going
dude's
by look.
stacked.
I just meant the character. But as far as like abs go, I mean, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
he's tan. He's got the
No, I know.
musculature.
So maybe
Edward is a freaking waif that sparkles in the sun.
yeah, he's pale British with a
It's
shimmer.
not meant to be.
No, no, it's true. But
All
just
right, so
just the
let's.
character himself, it just didn't feel like it had very much depth
No,
to it.
they're all stupid. They're all tragic and hopeless and desperate for love. All right, let's break down her character traits. According to Wikipedia, which is of course where you find all truth in the universe, uh, Bella is described as warm, kind, compassionate, selfless, caring, and good. Yet she constantly sees herself as clumsy and undeserving of Edward. That's some serious self-esteem issues, right? I mean,
Yeah,
she's got this horrible self-fulfilling prophecy, and she thinks he is like this incredible guy, but from the start, he's sneaking into her room and watching her sleep. That
yeah,
is not the basis for a good relationship. He's
yeah,
a stalker.
yeah, not the best. And also she is not like, I don't know, her shock is not so shocked. You know what I mean? It's almost like she's got first of all, the characterization, I will say the difference between her character, that clumsiness doesn't really come out. The I feel like the book tried to portray her a little bit more dorky. You know what I mean? And not dorky like nerd, like academic smart. I just meant like kind of like, I don't know, just not, I don't know, just she's just like another girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just she wasn't like this where and so even in the book you're sitting here going, why does he like you? You know what I mean?
Almost like she's utterly mediocre.
She's utterly mediocre. And it's not that utterly mediocre isn't lovable. It's what does the 200-year-old vampire see in this person? And it would have been great if maybe we got to see that too eventually, but we don't. We don't get to see that. We don't get to see the traits of Bella that he saw in her that we didn't see, that his 200-year-old wisdom would have somehow seen that the audience wouldn't have seen. We don't. We purely just understand he loves her for a reason, almost like imprinting. It's just there is no rhyme or good reason for it. It just happens. Hmm.
So something that's funny to me is Stephanie Meyer, the author of these classic novels, describes Bella describes her tragic flaw as her lack of self knowledge. I'd argue that her tragic flaw is being written as a blank canvas for teenage girls to project themselves onto. She's basically a character with like the insert your personality trait here written on her forehead.
That is
She's
that is
just
true.
there so that all these, teenage girls can go out and read this book and be like, "It's so me."
Yeah, because honestly, if her challenge trait is self-awareness, that would mean something if there was something under the self that was worth discovering. Like there would have to be something there to be aware of. And frankly, you're right. It is a blank canvas. There is no depth, I find, to the character at all. So I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't find there to be very much depth, with her. But I don't know. I've tried to think about this over the years. Like if you inserted a Lois Lane, or you inserted the girl from Outlander, if you inserted like this dominant or this character that has her own independence, whether that is extroverted or introverted. You know what I mean? Of tastes and wants and desires of her own. And then you have this love and interest that overwhelms those things. Then that is more acceptable because you think about like some really great characters in literature that have um their own dominance or their own like strength within, extroverted or introverted. You're still they're still got solid nature to them, but you don't really have that with Bella. You don't have anything of depth. Really, the only defining characteristic about her is that she really likes Edward. That's the only defining
No, no, no.
characteristic about
She
her.
loves Edward.
I'm sorry, she loves Edward deeply.
I'm sorry, you don't know what love is.
Yeah.
You're a child.
Can we also talk about some other things? Like, and I know this is later on in it, but there's only so much we both can stand of this before nauseum. So like let's fast forward all the way to Breaking Wind. I'm sorry, Breaking what's it called? Breaking Dawn. That's right. So I call it Breaking Wind in the home. So the Breaking Dawn aspect and then finding out about her daughter and Jacob. Can we just talk for a hot minute? First of all, it's horrible in the first place. Horrible storyline on that matter. But her reaction to it, her reaction to Jacob, her dynamic with Jacob, and all of that by the time you get to that point in the book. The very fact that they were having struggles as she became a vampire, and now he is going to be in love with a vampire. You know what I mean? It breaks the rules of their engagement, you know, because, well, one, she's always going to smell bad.
Well, no, she's half human.
Still, though, she's still half vampire.
Yeah, it's
So
none of it makes any sense.
I'm just saying, like, in the reaction, you tie the end of the story and everybody kind of walks off going, and it's like, nah, doesn't work out. He should have died. Shouldn't he have died? I mean, could if he had Jacob just died, sacrificing his life to save Bella.
I wish that the reality had been that scene from the last movie where they were getting a glimpse into what Alice saw as the future, and that big battle would have been the reality.
I wish
That
there had
that would have been
been
great.
that
When
would have
that when
been
that
a great thing.
yes, I thought, oh, they're changing it. It's not like the book.
Yes,
And
that's what
and
should have.
then it was like all it was like a flash forward in Alice's head. Dang it.
That I can't stand that stuff. You know what I mean? It's so anticlimactic. You know what I mean for that to happen.
He
So
gave us this huge battle and then nothing. It doesn't mean anything because it's fake.
they should have stuck with the battle. Yeah, that would have
Mhm.
been good.
So well, let's get back to Bella and her scarred psyche. Um, One wild thing to me is that she's willing to give up literally everything. She's gonna give up her humanity, her family, her future, all for a guy she just met in high school biology class.
Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't even share my lunch with my high school lab partner, let alone become an undead creature of the night for them.
Do you think that this has to do with some bad parenting? I mean, I have to say, like, although Billy, what's his name? Billy Burke?
Yeah,
Billy,
the actor.
yeah. Although I thought he did a great job in acting and his character was was a good character, I'm still like, this is a cop. This is a cop. You don't first of all, you're not gonna let your kid roll and you're gonna get more involved. You're gonna put some foot. I just can't even imagine that this would have gone as far as it had gone. Single
Well,
dad or no.
let's be fair to Dad here. He hasn't been doing a lot of the raising. right?
That's
He,
true.
she's been under the care of their happy-go-lucky hippie mom
Yeah.
for however many years now, and then she comes to Forks for. Was there a reason given why she suddenly had to move to Washington?
I think there was. Was she just having trouble? Was she having trouble?
I don't know. I mean, she doesn't strike me as she wasn't the kind of kid who was just getting into trouble at school,
No,
right?
not trouble like that, but socially change of pace, something, I don't know, something.
I can't remember, but you don't want to blame dad for all that because he's now like suddenly he's the dad of a 17-year-old girl. He's missed out on a lot of her formative years. He doesn't know how to parent her, and he's just a bachelor
Oh, no,
basically.
I know why. The mom married a minor league baseball player and
Oh, so
she
they
was
were big traveling.
traveling. That's
Got
what
it.
the what's on online.
That makes sense. Okay. That is the kind of thing that starts off all kinds of stories.
I just still I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I get he's not been a part of her life. She's coming in there. I'm still having trouble with it, especially when things are getting weird. Maybe at the beginning, maybe you're getting used to it. There's a point at which, then again, if you think about Save the Last Dance, when Julia Stiles goes and live with her dad that wasn't a part of her life after her mom dies, he definitely was not an involved or good father, you know what I mean, or
True.
anything, and
True.
he let her roll and go wherever. So maybe I'm just hoping somebody would have interceded. And in the end, at the end of the day, especially now looking back, I really just wish the movie had taken a turn and we could have just seen Anna Kendrick as the main character. You know what I mean? That we're just like, I'm sorry, she's pretty. She's much prettier. 200 years of experience, I can tell you. I like her.
I
She has a
think
great singing voice. She has a lot more personality, and the very little time we gave her in the movie, I'm gonna roll with her.
I think that the whole thing would have been more interesting if the Winchester brothers had caught wind of this Cullen clan living up in
Sam
in
and Dean.
Washington. Yeah, just send the Winchesters up there, bust out of the Impala, and like rip their heads off and set them on fire.
Sam, go get him. Oh
Just
my
picture them
God.
like, what's up with those five kids over there?
You've seen those little memes that have like Star Wars, like if the in the opening scene of Star Wars had they blown up the ship, it would have just rolled credits,
Yeah,
directed by George Lucas. This would have been one of those. Like she
yeah.
shows up for school, one day, and the next thing it's on the news, all these family members beheaded.
House burned to the ground. Beloved Doctor Carlisle Cullen and his family found slaughtered.
Slaughtered. Yeah, yeah. And then and then the movie just has an ending where her and her dad are like eating SpaghettiOs at the table,
Yeah,
you know?
there's like I don't know. I saw them at school the other day. I didn't really think much of them. They look kind of weird, a little pale, but whatever.
Yeah. There's a few notable appearances though. We did get to see a very an early part for Vecna, from Stranger Things. That actor who played Vecna. He was one of the vampire guys. We got to see Aaron Tveit, who is a good Broadway actor playing. Was it him or was it not him?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh, I thought it was Aaron Tveit who was in it. Maybe not. But we got to see what's her face from Fanning, Dakota Fanning in it. Got to see a lot of good actors that sold out to be in this. You know,
It's sold out.
I also thought it was weird that Michael Sheen was in it because I'm like flipping sides on me. You flipping sides on me after Underworld?
He was creepy.
Yeah, he was creepy. But yeah, I think that if I was to, there's some things that, we've talked about, like we watched when we were younger and we maybe didn't see the value of it. And you watch when you're older and you're like, oh, this is not one of those. No. In fact, age, time, reason, and wisdom only showcase the tragedy of the situation. I think it's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale for writers. You're a writer, you're doing this. I've written my own things and other writers out there. It's a cautionary tale to make sure that your character, um, the entirety of their depth isn't on something that they just discovered. That's not wise. Don't do that.
All right, so in wrapping up our conversation about the beloved Bella Swan, can we diagnose her with anything? Like, does she have any like serious disorders that we can like blame this on, or is it just a personality thing? I mean,
I
I'm no doctor. I'm not trying to prescribe any medication to this chick, but I mean,
I
clearly
mean, she,
there's.
she has some depression, anxiety challenges. Um, I wouldn't go so far to say that we see obsessive behavior as she finds herself in circumstances that are forced you know, that are forced. It's not like she's the one breaking into his place. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So a lot of
But
things are just happening to her and she is reacting to them.
that's true. That's true. She is a reactor. And I would say that I guess the heaviest reaction we see from her is in what's the second one called? New Moon, where the Cullens just take off. And so he's Edward is not around anymore. And she basically
Shuts down.
like for months shuts down and then uh becomes almost suicidal just to feel something. And so that's a very dangerous place to be. I don't know if I'd call that clinical depression or
Well, I think
what.
she has attachment issues, right? I think
Oh
there's
yeah. Oh
there's
gosh, yeah.
there's the issue there. I mean, but then again, if you were to consider and look back, you would say, all right, well, she's got a flighty hippie mom that's now leaving her and abandoning her. She's coming into a dad who's distracted, doesn't know how to be. She doesn't really have a place. So she doesn't really have an understanding of attachment with any male figure or anything like that. She doesn't understand any sense of authority per se, or anything. So this guy kind of maybe fills in a gap for what would have been a father figure for her, but she's now obsessed with in a love fashion. I think there's things like that.
He is 200 years old.
He could be her father. He could be her great grandfather.
Okay. Father. Sister. All right. Well, let's move on to our pop culture pulse. Let's just agree that Bella is sick and there's no cure. So speaking of vampires, have you heard that there's an upcoming Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot?
I did hear that.
So
I
apparently Sarah Michelle Gellar is on board. She's producing. She's even going to star in some capacity, passing the stake on to the next generation. Isn't that exciting?
I think it's exciting. I never watched the full series, and I know I need to do that. I think I would like to do that. But in fact I think I just got to get through because there's some cheesiness. You know what I mean? You got to get
Well,
through.
if you can watch watch the season finale of season one, okay, and then get into season two. Season two is where it really
I know.
hits its
I just need to
stride.
push through. I know. I just need to push through. But anyway, so I think after watching her in Dexter's prequel, show, I watched that and I loved it. I thought she did great. She's a great character. She's a great actress, and I think that I would really enjoy watching the reboot. I'm gonna go back and watch the series.
Not related to Buffy, but sort of related to Sarah Michelle Gellar. Did you know that there's a new "I Know What You Did Last Summer" movie coming out
I
this
did
summer?
hear that. Is it a reboot or a sequel?
So I'm not sure. I think it's going to be something along the lines of what they did with Scream a few years ago,
Uh,
where I guess it would be a requel.
where
So
somebody's coming back, but it's not. It doesn't disrupt the continuity.
right, so Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are both reprising their roles from the original films.
Nice.
Um, But I mean, obviously, Sarah Michelle Gellar can't come back. She died in the first one, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out. But yeah,
Then again, they're
Buffy.
talking about Dewey coming back for Scream, so you know, you never. I know. I'm like, how? He seriously died. Like
Really died this time.
he really died
He
this
was
time.
really dead. Like I know in the first two he got stabbed a bunch of times, but he made it. He survived somehow.
He
But
was
but
only
we saw him
mostly
still
dead.
alive at the end.
He was only mostly dead.
We we uniform this time.
They took it to Miracle Max, you know.
You think it'll work? It would be could take a miracle. Bye bye, boys. Have
Have
fun
fun
storming the
storming the
castle.
castle.
Uh, all right. Well, I'm curious to see who they're going to bring back from the original Buffy to see who's going to be on there. There can't be too many because you can't bring the vampires back. They've aged, and that's not how that works.
Did what's his face die or leave or whatever? The one who ended up being Brainiac in Smallville, that actor?
He was still alive at the end of Angel,
Yeah, so they might bring him back.
but he's aged. He's like in his 60s now.
Yeah, and vampires aren't supposed to age, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, they're immortal, and David Boreanaz definitely looks, older than his mid 20s. You
Yeah.
can't bring those guys back. And sadly, Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Buffy's little sister,
He died.
she passed away recently, so she's obviously not making a comeback. My money's on Allison Hannigan making a comeback as Willow, but that's really the only one I see. Really,
Wait, didn't Willow go bad?
she went bad, but they brought her back.
Oh, I see.
Um,
I don't know anything about it, but I just yeah,
yeah, yeah, those episodes are a little rough to get into. But that's a season 6. You just got to get through season 2, man.
that's right.
You'll cry. You'll cry at the end of season 2. I promise you.
Hmm.
All right. Moving. Do you have any? Sorry. Do you have any pop culture pulse stuff to throw out there for us?
Since we're on the subject of vampires, just so everyone knows, Epic Universe in Florida opens at the end of May, May 25th, I believe it is, and it has in one of its little lands Dark Universe, and this has what is to be one of the best rides ever in existence of all time, which is where you go into the Frankenstein's castle, and you have like the progeny, the daughter of Frankenstein, who's doing something or the other, and there's the Wolf Man, and there's the Frankenstein's monster, and there's Dracula, and there's all this. But this world here has a whole bunch of stuff. There's like a werewolf roller coaster. There's this awesome steak place, and it's this portal world that you go into. So super excited. I'm going to be going in July 4th weekend and also Labor Day weekend. And we're going to be staying at that Celestial Hotel that is actually connected to the park and oversees the park. But super excited about that.
Universal Orlando, not a sponsor.
But if you want to be, I will do this all day long, anytime, every time.
All right, recommendation corner. I don't have anything specific this time, but Landon, have you got any media you've been consuming that you want to spit back out at us?
I would say I finished watching the latest season of Severance, and it is great. So great.
I
Such a
just started
great
watching
show.
that this week.
I
I'm 2 episodes
love
in,
I love
and I'm so
Severance.
confused.
You will be continually, but it's so good. Such a great show. Enjoyed that. I have watched I'm still catching up on Yellow Jackets, and that is disturbing, not for the young viewer. Maybe not for a lot of viewers. It could be, I mean, you got some messed up people. I like the adult track more than the kid track, but but the whole Stephen King thing that we've enjoyed with adult and kid back and forth from it and all that. I like that kind of thing. And then lastly, White Lotus, again, not for kids, but on HBO, third season. Um, still in the middle of episodes. I guess one's releasing tonight, so that's pretty good. Jason Isaacs does a great character this season. Also, we get some Walter Goggins. So yeah, yeah, good show.
All right. I guess I'm gonna spin the wheel.
Time to spin the wheel.
Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
What we got? What we got? What we got?
Oh, Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur.
I
All right.
still have not seen Ben-Hur, so now I'm gonna
Oh,
watch it.
that's a good one. I thought we could work our way through the AFI top 100 movies of all time.
By all means.
Um, and kind of give our opinions on some of these movies that are classics, and are they deserving to be considered of the top 100 of all time or not? And Ben-Hur is at the bottom of the list, so that'll be we'll work our
That's
way up.
100. All right, there we go.
Yeah. All right. And our second topic next time will be. Sorry, I spun that too hard.
That was really hard. Yeah.
I didn't mean to jog him so hard.
Oh, the role of the villain.
The role of the villain. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that one.
Villains, if it's a good villain, they don't know that they're the villain. They think they're the hero.
Yes, unless they really know they're the villain and they like that.
I mean, well, you think about it. Thanos, he was doing what he did because he thought it was for the greater good.
The Terrifier knows he's the villain and he likes it.
Okay, I haven't seen those movies. They
Oh,
terrify me just from the. I'm like I've heard they were very graphic, and I'm not sure I could handle it.
don't watch
Yeah,
it. Can't unsee stuff. Don't watch it.
you can't unring that bell.
Uh, Wish I could plug. I wish I had like that pensieve and I could just like, but then
Let's
forget
get rid of that one.
it. Yeah. Mm.
All right, guys, that is all we've got for today. Once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll know when we've got new content up. Next week, we will be talking about what did we say? The villain, the role of the villain,
Ben
and we'll be talking about Ben-Hur, a classic Charlton Heston film. Really is a great movie. If you've never seen it, watch it before we come back with our next episode, and you'll be able to join in on the conversation with us. So, yeah, Landon, any last thoughts?
Yeah, like and subscribe. We appreciate you listening.
All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching or listening, whatever you're doing, and have a great whatever it is, wherever you are.
All right, see ya.